Hey guys, Brandon from Ghouls, Guts, and Gore, and I'm here because I have to talk about the movie The Witch, because this movie has been probably one of the most hyped horror movies I've seen come out in a long time. Like, I remember hearing about this and being super pumped about it. When it came out, I went opening weekend. It's been out for a couple weeks now, but I had to talk about it and kind of my reaction to it and an epiphany I had. So, The Witch is one of those horror movies that's gotten people out to the theaters to go see it. People that don't normally go see horror movies in February or March are going to see The Witch. It made a lot of money, it made a lot of hype, it made a lot of buzz. And what you're seeing a lot of on the internet is the way people are reacting is that The Witch was not scary. The Witch was not a good movie because it wasn't scary. And you kind of get that, it seems like, from a lot of the casual horror movie goers. Nothing against them. I mean, if you don't want to watch every indie horror movie or the B movies on Netflix, that's fine. If you only look for, like Insidious or Conjuring, those movies do really well and there's a crowd for those. But what's funny and really interesting about The Witch and a lot of horror movies is a lot of people's measure of a good horror movie is if it scared them or not. And a lot of people's reactions to The Witch is that it wasn't a scary movie. These types of reviews are all over the internet, so I want to actually look at a couple of those right now. So if you go on Twitter, these are some direct tweets that you can find. All this is public information, so I'm going to call out a couple people. At Indira_darling says, "Don't go watch The Witch. It's stupid as fuck, and it's not even scary." At LCD Tapper, "I just spent mad money on The Witch, which not only is not scary as promised, but is one of the worst movies ever made. Who do I sue?" At BigNeek93, "Go ahead and save yourself a couple hours of your life and do not see The Witch. Very boring and not scary." At Ray J. Evernham, awesome last name, "Did not like The Witch movie. Thumbs down. It was not scary." So if you type The Witch into the search bar of Twitter, you're going to see reviews like that all over. You're going to see a ton of that stuff where they're bashing the movie for not being scary, but you're also going to see a lot of positives because this movie has been getting amazing reviews from critics. It has a ridiculously high Rotten Tomatoes score, which is why a lot of people have gone to the theater to see it. But what's really interesting to me, this is the crazy part, is the interactions you're getting between people that loved and hated the movie. So a movie like this is extremely divisive, and it's literally turned into a witch hunt of its own, where people that love the movie are defending it and calling out those that didn't like it as uneducated or don't know how to analyze movies or are just plain stupid. And those that did not like the movie are calling out all the critics or people that like the movie as jumping on a bandwagon. So I want to read a couple posts directly from the IGN message board. IGN actually gave The Witch a ridiculously favorable review, a 9.3, calling it amazing. And the interactions are what I want to highlight on the IGN message board because some of this is just hilarious. So Trev9421 writes, "Can someone who hated this movie tell me their favorite horror movie? I want to see what I'm working with here." CDR Shepherd93 writes, "I'm guessing they love The Purge, Paranormal Activity, sequels, and the Saw franchise." Duke Saber 1 writes, "Are you kidding me? This movie was absolute trash. I was excited to see it. As a massive fan of cinema and horror movies, this movie excited me, especially after all of these high reviews. I can only assume that these reviewers were afraid that they missed some type of deeper meaning to this movie, so they're praising it so they don't look ignorant. Nope, nothing deep, poor cinematography, horrible story, slow crawl towards an underwhelming end." Double Barrel Banana writes, "Poor cinematography? Your opinion was just invalidated right there. There's plenty of deeper meaning in the movie. Take a psychology class and maybe try watching it again. I'm assuming most of the film just went over your head." Cyber Bladex I lies. "I just left the theater and this was the biggest piece of crap ever produced. I thought it was supposed to be scary. The audience was booing during this." Troll Killer replies to this, at Cyber Bladexi, "You must have been in the double-digit IQ only theater." Dark Paragon writes, "Waited months for this movie to release wide, and boy does it deliver. It's a horror movie for those with keen intellect and appreciation for horror and film as art. For everyone else, I'm sure a new Saw or Paranormal Activity will be along soon." So now the big question, how did I feel about The Witch? Well, internet, hang me, burn me, press me to death like a witch because I was pretty freaking underwhelmed with this movie and kind of bored out of my mind. I won't take anything away from the acting, the cinematography, the commitment to it being all in Old English like a New England folktale. All of that was beautifully done. But the buzz that this movie is getting online, I can't get behind that, and I wasn't that impressed with the whole presentation of it. So does me not liking The Witch mean I missed something, or I'm a crappy horror fan, or I only like the Saw movies or really gory stuff? No, and what's crazy is I always thought the horror community was always very welcoming, where as long as you liked horror, as long as you were into some dark, crazy, messed up stuff, and you could all get together and kind of laugh about some of the crazy stuff that horror movies do, you were accepted. But with The Witch, the feedback and the interaction between people online and just in public has just gotten so nasty, and it's really fascinating to me. Now, I know I said I found The Witch was boring. That doesn't mean I can't get into a slow burn kind of horror movie. I love slow burn horror movies. What The Witch really reminded me of was how much I love Lords of Salem, another witch movie, which is an extremely slow burn horror movie. And it pissed off a lot of Rob Zombie's fans because it wasn't the in-your-face House of 1,000 Corpses or Devil's Rejects. I love Rosemary's Baby. I love Alfred Hitchcock movies. Those are all suspense and cinematography driven. Just with The Witch, I almost feel like its problem for myself and probably others was the expectations that it built up. And that's where I feel like this movie has had a huge disservice, is all the critics are claiming it one of the scariest movies of all time, or the scariest movie you'll see in years, or will give you nightmares. And we live in a society where walking down the street in a big city is more scary than a lot of the things we can get in movies these days. So when you make those proclamations, people are going to have insane expectations to see something they've never seen before, or feel like they're going to die almost by watching this movie, or that it's so satanic and dark that they just feel filthy after watching it. And this movie was never going to hit those expectations of the public. In my opinion, The Witch wasn't a very scary movie at all. The better word to use is that it was a disturbing movie. There's some really cool imagery in The Witch, like when Caleb first encounters the witch in the forest in her little hut, and we kind of get a reveal that there actually is a physical manifestation of the witch, or when the mother's rocking in a chair, mistaking a crow for something else. Really messed up, disturbing imagery. Those scenes were definite strengths of the movie, but for me, there wasn't a whole lot of entertainment value aside from the acting and the cinematography and the costumes to make me think it's anything more than a well-directed movie. So for those bashing the movie for being awful because it wasn't a scary movie, you're entitled to your opinion as much as the people that loved analyzing a family tearing itself apart and the little 7 deadly sin symbolism that was throughout The Witch. All that stuff was pretty deep for a horror movie, and I applaud the director of The Witch for trying to do what he did. There's a literal witch hunt happening online on message boards, on Twitter, and just with people's opinions, where if you didn't like the movie, you're a moviegoer who only watches Michael Bay films and you're not intelligent enough to like this movie. Or if you did like the movie, you're going along with the critics and the Rotten Tomatoes score and being a sheep and saying you liked the movie when really you didn't. For me, the psychology of people analyzing The Witch is more fascinating than the movie actually was itself. So thanks for watching this Saw It movie review on The Witch, although this wasn't as much a review and more of just an observation that I had to share with how people are interpreting this movie. Subscribe to Ghouls, Guts, and Gore on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.